Welcome to the Sewing Whisperer. This tutorial demonstrates how to apply pattern brushes to fashion text sketches. We're now continuing from a previous video that shows how to draw the tech sketch of a pair of activewear shorts and follows on with 3 videos on producing stitch pattern brushes for technical sketches. The links for these videos are in the details below if you'd like to follow along. So we're now going to take the shorts that we produced earlier on and apply the brushes to them. So this particular pair of shorts has got the flat lock brush applied here and it's got the double stitching. And we've got a single stitch down in here. So this is the file that we just produced, and I think our brushes have been sitting up here. We've been working with them. I'm happy to dock that in beside the stroke for the moment just to free up some space on the page. And we can take all of these brushes, but we actually don't need the cover stitch. We only need the single, hold shift, the double, and hold shift, and we'll select the flat lock and we'll copy those. Command or Control C, put them on the clipboard, and then we'll open up our version 1 activewear shorts that we've been working on, and we'll say File, Save As, and save that as version 2. So save as, and let's change this to version 2 just so you have a reference of what it looked like before the brushes were applied. Make sure you know where that was going. Now I'm going to go to my layers and just make sure you're on your inside lines because all of this slime work is on the inside lines, and I'll do Command or Control V to bring in those brushes that I was just talking about. Now by bringing those in, I'll pull this out so you can see all of them. That's brought those 3 brushes in. That just automatically happens when you paste line work in with a brush on it. We don't need this line work anymore. We can hit delete, but the brushes will remain. I'll just dock them back in there now. So the next thing to do is to apply the brushes to our shorts. So we'll get our black selection tool, click the yoke on the front, hold shift and get the left and then the right panel line, hold shift and get the back yoke, left and right panel lines, and the yoke line on the side view and the left and right panel lines. And then in the brushes palette we'll click on our flat lock, and that's applied the flat lock to everything. We'll go back to our stroke and change the stroke weight to 0.75 to make it a little bit smaller. Next we'll apply the double stitch. So the double stitch goes on the top of the pocket, so we'll hold shift and select the top of all the pockets. Back to our brushes and we'll click on the double brush, and once again change our stroke weight down to 0.75. Now we haven't got lines for the hem and we need to do that, so we're going to go to our outside lines, and make sure when you do this step you click from the bottom. So if I was to click from the top, I'm going to move the whole outside lines layer, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to click from the bottom with my white selection tool, click, hold and drag and get the left hand leg, hold shift, click and drag the right hand leg, same on the back for both left and right, and the same for the hem. Just make sure you don't accidentally select anything else. And then we're going to copy those, so Command or Control C, or we could say Edit Copy. And then we'll lock that, go to the inside lines, and then we want to paste in front. So we could go Edit, Paste in Front, or the shortcut key is Command or Control F. I'm going to use the shortcut key, so I'm going to say Command or Control F. That's placed those lines in there. I'll now arrow them up 3 times, so 1, 2, 3, and then I'll get my brush and apply the double brush. Once again, change your stroke weight down to 0.75. I'm just wondering, I might take that up 1 more click and just see. I think I might leave it up a little bit higher. It's usually about a 2.5 centimetre or 1 inch hem, sometimes 2 centimetres, so it depends on the manufacturer. Now one thing that has happened on those lines, and I can see because you can see through here, you can't see the brush all the way through. So what's happened there, and that's really good to show you this is a problem that can happen. If I turn off my outside lines layer, and I'll turn off the shadow layer as well, you can see that the grey lines I've just brought in have some light grey fill on them, and I don't want that fill on there. That's because I've copied them off the outside lines layer. So I'll get my black selection tool and select those hemlines again, so just holding shift, and you'll see they've got fill on them. So I'm going to empty that fill out, make sure the fill box is at the front and empty it out so there is no fill on there. And then I'll turn the outside lines back on. We're now going to dash the lines on the pocket, the bottom of the pocket. So we're going to do it two ways. The first way, we'll select the front and then we'll get the single stitch brush and click on the brush and then set that back to 0.75. But there's times when you can't be bothered going and getting the brush. You can actually I'll select the other three. You can just make it a dash stitch. So you can dash this line, click dashed, set that to, mine's defaulting because I've been using it previously. Scroll across there and type 3, scroll across on the gap and type 2, and then set the cap to rounded, and I like to set the dashes so that if it was a pocket, the corners of the dashes would align. So that's two ways to do your dash stitching. Both ways work. We produced a brush, so it's probably just as easy to use the brush, but sometimes you don't want to go off and upload your brushes. I actually prefer the weight of the brush, so I think I might change that back. I'll just undo actually, Command or Control Z, and again till it goes back to a straight line, and then I'll go back to my brushes so that they're all uniform, and I'll choose a single stitch brush. And that's the finish of the activewear shorts. I'll just turn the croquis layer off. Hopefully you now understand the process used to apply brushes to a text sketch. Thanks so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and give this a thumbs up if you'd like to see more videos.